Hey there, we're in the Tron Wyckoff analysis session, so let's quickly take a look at, after 7 weeks of consecutive climb, what's happening with Tron right now. So in the weekly chart, we can see, even though we're starting with a green candle as of this moment, if I zoom in, especially at the bottom, we see that there 2 weeks ago in end of July, there was quite significant selling at this point, much like what happened in mid-July. So these two with more significant volume compared to what we have at least last week, because it's not fair to talk about this week. We're just only 1 day into the weekly candle. If we look at last week's candle, it's telling us the volume, even though the price climbed, the volume has dropped very significantly. So this may be a warning sign that steam is running out, and potentially we are seeing the upthrust peak at this moment already. So naturally speaking, after an upthrust, there will be a drop in price, and then there may be a second test. I would assume if a second test happens, it should at least test the purple key level at 0.32. Currently we are at 0.346. So if that really happens, that the upthrust has peaked, not that it has reached the all-time high. The all-time high was back in here at 0.45. So the current level is basically touching the 2018 high at around 0.35. So just 2 weeks ago we have touched that high point. Currently we're still below that particular high point as of this moment. So that's the big picture. If the volume continues to stay like that, it's probably not going to go high any further. Let's look at the daily, the micro view. So previously when it tested this top, we have marked this UTAD over here, and then obviously the automatic reaction already happened when we had last session, and we put in this tag, is it heading towards the last point of supply? Surprisingly, it's not yet. It's more like a second test to me. I'll keep this tag over here and may eventually come down. So I borrow a second test tag over here. Is heading towards the top edge of the upward channel to test it once again, but the top edge of the channel right now is still not as high as when the peak happened at around 35 cents 20. So currently the top edge is around 35 cents 10 roughly. So while there's a chance for it to test this high point over here, it's not getting there yet. The volume has picked up a little. If I drag the chart over, basically I need to enlarge this manually in order to see a meaningful representation. Auto doesn't work because there were way higher volume on the left. So the volume is climbing today, especially. Yesterday it was medium, I would say, not the low kind of volume, but there was quite a bit of selling as well yesterday. So the volume is a bit mixed. I would say 55% towards 50% towards selling, 50% towards buying, around that range. But today it seems to be quite a bit of buying as of now we can see. However, like I said, combining the weekly volume, it doesn't seem like it's convincing enough for a much higher value as of this moment, unless there's a very limited supply and suddenly there's a news that triggers people to FOMO in. That would be a case where the price can go even higher than what we're seeing now. Let me quickly just I just want to check this corner squeeze as well. So we have a little bit of a squeeze over here, and that's why we have this price surge. Right now there's no squeeze pressure at the moment. So previously there was a squeeze here during this range, and we have this long wave upwards. So that consolidation period, that lengthy squeeze period, triggered this lengthy path upwards. But then if you look at the trajectory here, is a declining trajectory. So it is not like a straight line up. I can draw a straight line and just to make sure I'm not drawing what I'm wishing to see. So I am trying to pick the peak of these candlesticks and see where it's heading. I'll change this line to white so it's easier to see. So just look at not these peaks over here, but the lower peaks. It does look to me that it is somehow not at the same slope as what we have previously. So if this remains strong, it should be at least getting to where I talk about the top edge of the, not top edge, it's actually outside of the top edge of the upward channel. But now it isn't. So from the upwards to the upwards after distribution, it took 11 days. From the upwards after distribution to where we are now, we're already 13 days in. So the steam is kind of obvious that it's losing a bit. We're taking a longer time but not reaching the similar level of climb. So if I just adjust this, let's say if this, you want to see these two tip as well, I can drag it all the way back to the buying climax. So that's where it looks like. So it should be somewhere touching at 36 cents. But that's, like I said, this point 35 cents 20 is a very key level back in a long time ago. So while if it's really losing steam, the volume seems to pick up today, but I'm not sure whether is it the last attempt. I would say, I would use the word last attempt towards this high point over here. If it fails, that means it's the second test is over, and it will eventually come down for a sign of weakness. So let me put this tag here for now and park it here. Next week when we come back, let's see whether that's the case, that it's coming down for a sign of weakness and then a rebound in LPSY around the orange level, and then eventually maybe it falls outside of this upward channel. For the bears, this may be the good news. For the bulls, maybe you're waiting for it to climb towards the top edge of the box and breaks the previous resistance, the UTAD. That means I won't say it's impossible. There still can be a chance for this to go above this level, but it has to come at a very significant strength and a good reason for people to FOMO in at that high point. So that's why I say that's a less likely scenario compared to the first one where it comes down from the top because of these declining volume as well as this crazy selling over here. That means this over here, it's not a small volume. If we look at here, it's like somebody has distributed quite a bit towards whatever retail or smaller investor that went in. So finger crossed. Good luck to